RPG 그대로의 RPG 불멸의 전사 2.
So
Here in Korea, yeah.
it's kind of rough. I would also rate Dark as like number 3 in terms of those 3 top players, right? I think it's Zest, TY, and then Dark in my opinion. But either way, guys, we are going to jump into this match. Stats versus Blaze.
And Blaze, we knew him before as Panic from Startail, now an MVP trying to find a new home. But as I mentioned before, it feels like that Blaze is kind of peaked as a player. I don't really see him improving upon his current skill level right now.
Yeah, to be honest, every time I see him, I kind of see the same guy, right? I don't see any big improvement, or he's not falling down either, right? He's not a bad player, that's for sure. But in this case, Stats going to get all 7 votes from us. Not a surprise to me, GTR.
Yeah, no surprises that everyone's favoring Stats in this match. He is a SSL finalist.
Well, let's jump into game number 4, Stats versus Blaze. Up here in the top right, in the red, the Protoss player, it is Stats.
Entire Stats. And spawning here at the bottom left for MVP as the light blue Protoss, it is Blaze. There's actually a lot of people out here in the crowd today. It feels very hearty, full of cheer. Mid-semester tests did finish here in Korea, so obviously a lot of the college crowd can finally come out to the studio once again.
To be honest, last week was a little bit depressing. I was like, where did all the people go? And then you're like, no, it's just midterms. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely the crowd we are used to and expect here at Pro League. Very full.
Looks like both players are posturing to wall themselves off here. Stats. Oh, actually, Stats is going to wall off with the Pylon rather than the Gateway, which is a really interesting move. Blaze going for the traditional Gateway block off.
This is interesting because Blaze is going to see this, right? He's going to say, okay, you're just going 1 gate here. You've got no other pylons in the main, obviously, if you have 2 at the front at this point. So let's see if Blaze wants to get a little bit aggressive, knowing that Stats isn't going safe just yet with the 2-gate build. That is very common nowadays.
And with those 2 pylons, skipping that second Gateway, it's obvious that Stats will be rushing for that Mothership core for the pylon, for those photo and overcharges, because you definitely need Stats to defend. And Stats might actually be able to kill this probe here. Okay, the probe actually runs away, but yeah, we see finally a deviation in the builds. Looks like Stats is actually going to expand behind this.
Yeah, not really mining too much gas. I think he's got 1 guy in the gas, maybe 2 at this point. Yeah. And he has added that second gas, so he's actually mining 2 from each gas. But definitely taking that a bit slowly. And there's the expand, going for a bit of a risky one on a big map like Orbital Shipyard with that backdoor base.
And here comes the pro proxying a pylon. Although I think it will be a proxy Dark Shrine or a Stargate, because it's not really in the position that a proxy Robo with the proxy Immortals will be effective.
Yeah.
I actually think it'll be a Stargate.
Well, let's see. Could add the Twilight. No, it looks like he's saving up that gas. And it will be that Stargate. There it is.
There we go.
Not the fastest Stargate in the world. He did build some other stuff on Mothership Core, namely with some of that gas early on, but does add in the Stargate right after that.
Yeah, so it looks like the advantage that Stats has in this game is that he has a quicker Nexus, but this Stargate from Blaze, if it's not counted for, might do a lot of damage if Stats is not careful with it.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Mothership Core right now of Stats. It's all the way across the map. Both of these guys, actually, going for a scout and some possible damage. And this Stargate is already finishing up, so unless Stats gets like a major scout right in the main and like immediately recalls, he could be in some trouble. There's only, okay, he's got 2 Stalkers back at home. I feel like that's enough to ward off the Oracle at least.
Yeah, but also note that with what Stats is, okay, Stats is doing a bit of damage to these pros, but He has to recall. He takes out one probe. Is he going to be really greedy and try and take out... Okay, he has to recall here.
There he goes. Only one Stalker to do that damage. Does come home. Has enough energy for an overcharge. Just in time for anything such as a Proxy Oracle.
But my thought before I digress was that Stats opened with a Robotics and not a Stargate. So he's not going to be able to get any Phoenixes out. And now this Oracle's actually doing its damage here. Oh, the pylon overcharge though. Is it gonna? Oh,
and he gets it just barely. Oracle only getting 4 kills.
That has to be heartbreaker from Blaze there. If that Oracle got away, that would have been so much more useful for Blaze. But
yeah, and look at how late the expand is compared to Stats. That Oracle needed to get more damage.
Yep. And we can see here in the supply count, 49 now for Stats compared to the 41 of Blaze, and it's unfortunate that that Oracle died because he could have done a lot more damage and allowed Blaze back into the game.
Yeah, he has committed to a second Oracle at this point, but now Stats knows the tech. He's ready with all of his defense. Immediate overcharge comes down here. The Oracle will survive, but committing to the second Oracle that only gets 1 kill is not the best situation for Blaze, to be honest.
And now, with these Oracles not being as effective as they could have been, Stats is going for the blink play with the robotics as well, and he's probably going to be adding more gateways soon. Actually, no, he's going to expand behind this. As we see, the Nexus being placed there. Ooh. At least he got the Nexus down before the Oracle could snipe that probe, but
yeah,
it's looking very picky for Blaze at the moment. Okay, he's going to try and play catch up.
Yeah, and it's not a small map, of course. Orbital Shipyard. It does take quite a while to move all the way across the map and for Stats to put on that pressure, but Stats definitely having the better tech at this point. Is about to finish up that blink. No blink in sight for Blaze. He is making some Immortals early on to play it safe, and already has committed to 2 sentries as well, whereas Stats just, at this point, has 8 Stalkers in total.
Yeah. Obviously, here Stats looking to get that blink out before getting his own Immortals of his own, and looks like he's actually adding a few more gateways here to accompany his third base. And the Warp Prism is coming out here for Stats. Probably wants to do some harassment, whether he wants to do harassment with the depths or harassment with Stalkers. You just have to wait and see.
Yeah, he's got 4 Stalkers that have spotted the Stargate here. Oracle getting some more kills, actually. Swoops in and gets 2.
Oh, it doesn't get the blink ahead. Doesn't get that Oracle, which is a small win here for Blaze. Maybe he can use that Oracle to harass that. Back expansion of Stats, and we see here a small warp in of the depths from Stats, 2 in total, going to load up into that Warp Prism, and we just have to wait and see how much damage this drop can do.
Yeah, look at the front here. There's a pylon already ready. There's only 1, but he does have 2 Immortals to right now 0 of Stats. Stats has 1, but it's not with this army. Here's the drop coming in, just 2 Adepts. Gonna try to deny some mining time and possibly get some damage done.
Yeah, smart move from Stats, not actually going for an attack onto that third base of Blaze. 4 probes have been killed by these Adepts, and it looks like Blaze is actually moving out here. Nice, a bit of a premature Sentry Guardian Shield there. And also, before in that initial engagement, he did force a barrier, but that barrier cooldown will probably have been regenerated by now.
So Stats, it looks like, you know, with those extra gates, he has made a sizable army at this point. Even 4 sentries in the mix now. So looks like he wants to use those sentries to push the Immortals out of the fight and fight with his own Immortals here. He's got the higher Stalker count. He's also going to have Blink. Blaze is upgrading it right now, but I don't think it's going to be ready in time. Yeah,
Blaze is actually going for that Robotics Bay with a second Robotics facility. So he wants to get those Disruptors out, but I don't think they'll be able to come out in time with this army of Stats coming up here to posture for an attack.
I don't think he has any idea what Stats is doing. And he's breaking down his back rocks. He's not even in position. Where's the Mothership Core? Look at this. Force fields come down. They block out those Immortals from getting a good fight in here. More and more Warpins from Stats, and he's got a massive army compared to Blaze's.
Yeah, we have, what, 67 army supply compared to the 43 of Blaze. And it's just a numbers games at this point.
Yeah, it's just going to focus down all these units. All the Immortals still alive here for Blaze, but more and more Warpins, and there's the big blink onto all these Immortals that have already used their GG. Stats is going to take the game here and make it 3-1 and the win for KT Rolster.
A very convincing win here from KT Rolster today. Despite the fact that Jakji did lose to Gumiho, a lot of solid games here from the core players of KT Rolster.
Yeah.
And Proxy Oracle didn't do his job, unfortunately, for Blaze.
Just did get focused down, of course. Blaze overstaying his welcome. Very cool build by Stats, too, for the map. A little bit greedy on the economic side, but knew he could hold. Everything that he was doing was, you know, get that greedy expand, but then do everything possible to hold any kind of build. You were talking about the Robo first, gets those observers out, make sure he's safe against DPs. He had enough units, just barely, like even the timing with the Mothership Core going in and getting those kills and then recalling right before the Oracle comes in. He knows what he's doing in this matchup.
Yeah, so KT is still hunting for that second place, I believe, trailing SKT. Not too sure about that specifically, but obviously Blaze has to be disappointed with his performance there. Not MVP, not able to take the ace match where you have someone like Gumiho who can easily take a game off any of these players on KT if it's his day.
No, for sure. And imagine, Matt, how strong would KT Rolster be if they had a consistent fourth player? Like, TY and Zest are two of the best players in the world. Stats is a runner-up, right? They're just such a strong team if they could find a fourth.
Yeah, for sure, but they're still in that process of finding that fourth player, and we might see it next round. I'm not too sure. We'll just have to wait and see.
So, SK Telecom here with a loss to Samsung actually is in danger of not getting second at this point if KT Rolster wins their game and SK loses. But we'll see how this all does shape up here. Samsung giving themselves a chance with the 3 over SKT. MVP, you remember, was tied with KT Rolster, but now falls down to 5th. Yeah,
the fate, the destiny of that second place is all up to KT and Samsung Galaxy, as SKT have played all their games for this round. To see the winners ranking here, Maru and Zest on top, no surprises here. And Deers actually shot up 2 positions as he did take his win against Myungshik.
Yeah, you can see Dark not winning tonight, goes to 9 and 5. And Sue not playing tonight for SKT. Trying to look at some other names, TY and Stats both winning.
Reality popping up